Bah! What is up, everyone, and welcome to my once a year video, I guess. Today's video is super exciting. I'm really excited to get to share it with you guys because it's an interview. And I haven't ever posted an interview before. I got to do one on video. I've got to do a couple of interviews over the years, but I've never really got to record one and post it. So today's video is actually with one of my Amazon associates and one of my good friends. His name is Tradie, and he is an Amazon seller. He's a six-figure Amazon seller, and actually very close to being seven-figure now, as you'll see in the video. But he was kind enough to give us some of his time and just go over a couple of things that have happened with him and his journey of going into business and being an entrepreneur. And at the end of the video, he actually gives some advice, what he would say to younger people or to his younger self who are wanting to get into business, who are feeling a bit stuck where they are at the moment with their job or with life. So there's some really good golden nuggets in there as well. As you can see, in another new spot, it seems each video I keep changing places. So I've moved houses again. This is my new room and slash office. I know it looks a bit bare with everything there, but that's kind of cool as well. So hopefully there's some more videos coming soon. We've got some more interviews lined up now with some really cool people, some really cool young people and some cool older people who are all achieving great things and have some really great advice and information to give. So there's some really awesome stuff coming up. But I really hope that you guys enjoy this interview today. If you have any extra questions or things you'd like to ask Ture, make sure you leave them down in the comments or send me a message on Instagram. But I really hope you guys enjoy the video. I've missed you all lots, and I will talk to you all later. All right, let's go. Bam. What is up, everyone? And thank you so much for tuning into another episode today. Today, I've been lucky enough to be joined by Tradie, who is one of my Amazon associates and one of my good friends. So he's taken the time to give us a quick talk today. Today, thank you so much for giving me your time.
That's cool, man. I appreciate you coming to me for this. This is cool.
No, of course, I always want to come to the big dogs for all the good information. So hopefully I know you'll have a couple gems for me. But I could obviously give you a great introduction. But if you wanted to start off just telling everyone a little about yourself, just where you're from and what you do.
All right. Well, I'm from New Zealand. I grew up in Palmerston North. It's lower North Island. I'm an army brat, so my parents were in the army, or my dad was in the army, and we traveled around a lot as kids. Parents split when I was about 9 and grew up with a solo mum, just me, my sister, and my mum. And after high school, worked a bit around in Palmerston North, didn't really like it, wasn't going anywhere for me. So I moved down to Wellington and I loved it down there. I was there for about a year and then I decided to move over here. And I moved over to Brisbane at the end of December 2003. So I've been here for 18 years now.
Okay, nice. And so you said you finished high school in New Zealand there. Did you have any other type of traditional education outside of that high school, or that was pretty much it?
No, once I finished school, I was done with learning. I was like, I'd gotten a taste for making money, and it was I couldn't see myself going back to learning. It wasn't until much later in life where I kind of, I guess, maybe regretted it, but I decided that I needed to do something to just move forwards, to take a new path in life.
Yeah, of course. And we've obviously met through now business and entrepreneurship, and that we both build and sell things on Amazon. So you sort of mentioned a bit there how you went into working and went away from the learning, but were you always sort of into business or entrepreneurship, or how did you, what was a bit about your journey there?
No, I had my whole mindset was just make money, and the only way I thought about doing that was by working or winning lotto, and I don't buy lotto tickets, so that wasn't going to work. So I've been working since I finished school. I'd never been on the dole or anything. I've always worked. I've been scaffolding. I started scaffolding after I moved here. So 2004, I started scaffolding, and I'm still doing it today, and it's not an old man's game. And I'm 40 now, and it's really wreaks havoc on your body. So I figured in the last would have been probably around 2019. I was working FIFO, and that's fly in, fly out. So I was working away from the family for doing 4 and 1, so 4 weeks at work and 1 week at home. And we just started. My wife and I, we've been together for 15 years now, and we started a young family. So I was missing a lot of the pivotal things in like my kids' life. So we decided that I'd end that. And towards the end of the journey, my wife went to a Gary V seminar, and it was at the seminar where she saw Adam Hudson, and she really, really vibed off him. Like everything he was saying, she was like, this dude just doesn't talk bullshit. Like he just really resonated with her, and she thought that I'd be into it too. So she got me his book, Primed, and I took that away with me to work, and I had it with me at work. And like, I'm a big reader, I love reading. I smashed this book, and the whole time I'm reading, I'm like, ideas just popping out from everywhere going, I can do this. I've got this idea for a product. I've got this. And everything just really, really kicked off for me. And I was fortunate enough to get 6 months off work because I had carpal tunnel. See, I had it at 37, and it was bad enough that I needed surgery. So I got surgery, and I was still getting paid. So in the 6 months that I had off, it gave me a lot of time to really get stuck in and find if this was the drive for me. I signed up to the Reliable Education, and within 3 months, I'd created my own company. I'd started drafting ideas for products and everything. But they talk about it in the course that a really big thing is that you need a good mastermind. Well, not a good mastermind, a great mastermind. And well, I'm quite reserved. Like, I don't really like putting myself out there. I don't know, a lot of insecurities, but I signed up to go to the summit, and that's where like thousands of people go and see what you can do with it, what people have done with it, and just network and meet a lot of people, like-minded people. And I really sort of put myself out there. It was funny because I just went as me, like Adam saying, go dressed in your best, like business is all business. And if I'm going to have a business, I want to do it my way. Like, I've got tattoos, I've got like neck tattoos, I just didn't really fit the mold of business. I don't like wearing shirts. So I just went as me. I was wearing Jordans and like Nike t-shirts and stuff like that. I was just being me. I needed to be me to be comfortable. I'm just referring to my notes here. So went to the summit, and I set a goal that I wanted to find a mastermind there. So I just really put myself out there, introduced myself to so many people, created a chat group on Facebook so we could network and like see who was close to us, if we could sort something out and start something. And it seemed like there was a lot of really good connections there, but there was I don't know, I think everyone sort of had the same feeling as me, where you're a bit nervous, you don't really know what to expect, like we're all new to it. And there were a lot of sort of flaky people in it. And then on, I think it was day 3, I was just walking into the auditorium, and I looked around, and I was like, oh, there's spare seats over there, I'll just go sit down. And the seat I took was next to this young, he was a kid at the time, he was 18, and 18-year-old kid and his 20-year-old sister. And like, I just struck up a conversation with them, and then we exchanged details. And that meeting there was one of the most pivotal meetings that I've had in this whole journey. He was, you know who he is. Should I mention his name?
No, of course. He is very pivotal in a lot of people I know's journey. So of course.
like Dominic, he is so driven and just so determined. And for him doing it at 18, and I came in at like 37, and I'm just like, man, this kid is driven. I really like what he's got to offer. And it just so happened that I happened to be moving up near him. And so we thought, let's start up a mastermind. We created it, and at the start, it was just me, Dominic, his sister Deanne, and one of Dom's mates. But he sort of wasn't really in it. He was kind of in it, but then he just sort of fell off to the side. And then we started doing a bit of a recruitment, and we got a lot of people in. Some have come, some have gone, but I think we've got a really solid group now. And yeah, Dom was a really, really big factor for that.
Yeah, look, I think that's so cool. And just to like unpack a couple of those things that you went over, like one, so you mentioned at the start that you've only sort of been going over this now for a couple of years, you know, that you spent a large part of your life doing the working. And then on top of that, you obviously said you've got your wife and you started a family. So there's a lot of things going on there. And then for you to still go and start a business and run that, which we know takes a lot of time as well, I just think is absolutely amazing. But, you know, you mentioned before that, that your mindset, and I can even remember thinking this, was the only way that you'd make a lot of money was to work a lot or win the lotto, which, you know, you hear so many people say is, oh, I've got to win the lotto if I want to have that nice thing or I want to go on that holiday, and not having to work for it. So I guess what would you say now is like the biggest thing for you when you consider your mindset, or how you said the sort of people that you surround yourself with now? What would you say is like the most important thing for you when you bring that into your business?
Well, my mindset then was like work for someone else and like save up and get ahead. But then after seeing what's possible through this avenue, and seeing, then just having the self-belief going, I can do this. This is well within what I'm capable of if I just push myself. And just having like-minded people around you to that want more, that can do more. So I found that if I stick to this and really go at it, then this can be my freedom. This can set me apart. I don't need to do a 9 to 5. I can do it part-time. I just have my freedom. So my time is then mine. And surrounding yourself with people who want the same, who are driven to do the same, is so important.
Yeah, I agree. And as well, I guess as you've now progressed with that, you know, your different mindset and surrounding yourself with better people. And you said that you were quite like you sort of kept to yourself a lot. But I guess with bringing those things, would you agree that now it's helped you to sort of step out of your comfort zone, and sort of taking that leap is what's helped you have that success and continue to keep learning?
Yeah, massively, massively. Just losing those insecurities, like whatever doubts you have in yourself, it's what you have. It's no one else is thinking this. These are your own thoughts. You've just got to ditch them, go put yourself out there, because if you don't do it, you won't know.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Because like I know that you've gone through it to a few meetings with some big manufacturers and stuff lately, and I did it as well. And when I went into this meeting with a major plastic manufacturer in Brisbane, when I went and met them, it was so easy and so crazy. I was just so comfortable because I know what I need. I know my numbers. I know my product. I knew what I wanted and what my goals were. That all I had to do was go to them, tell them, and I was confident in everything. It was just having that self-belief and confidence that once you know what you want, then it's really easy to express it.
Yeah, that's right. Like you just said, with having confidence, I think so many of these big places, so many people are just afraid to approach because they think, you know, they're just this high mighty thing that's going to shut them down. And once you actually go and talk to these people, you realize that they're just normal people and that they're so excited to see you there and have confidence, and everyone just wants to help you. So I think that's really cool as well. Just touching on a different point now, I guess, for someone such as yourself who has had the chance to build I say a considerably larger business. I guess for us, for me, I see it as a large business.
Yeah.
But what would you say in that process now of building your first Amazon product? What would be some of the biggest challenges that you've found there?
Well, I sourced my product from China.
Mm,
I think communication is like the language barrier. Things can get lost in translation, and I think if you are communicating by email, then having like numbered questions to what you want answered and wait for the responses. And if they're not numbered back, then go, can you please answer it in this format, or even sending them like a survey type thing so you can get clear answers to each step, whatever you're chasing. Yeah, communication. The communication barrier is a hard one. Understanding what's involved with Amazon, what their requirements are for packaging, what their requirements are for size limits and tiers. Packaging's a big one because we want to make the packaging beautiful usually because they want an experience, but then it needs to be sturdy as well to withstand certain drop tests and things like that. So it's trying to cover all bases and fit within the requirements because they're so stringent and they can change things at the drop of a hat. And so you've really got to be dynamic with what you're doing and how you do it. Another one was international importing. So I was doing big volume. I couldn't just ship straight from my supplier to Amazon. I had to enlist a 3PL, a third-party logistics, and that was cool at the start because it was really exciting and new, and I had to come up with all new, like I had to understand how it worked, what was involved, tariffs and duties and everything. It was a big learning curve, but now that I know it, it's like I've ordered like 9 containers worth of stock, and I could do that like in 20 minutes to half an hour now. My first one took me like days.
It's crazy how something like that, which was so exciting for us, and just to see how normal it is now just to get it done. Yeah, it's crazy. And I guess it's always it's good to, look at those things that were hard and have been able to overcome them. But obviously as well, you've had quite a bit of success. Well, you've had some success there with that business as well. And I've obviously seen you go on to win a couple of awards within our community, which has been super exciting and inspiring to see. But what could you say would be a skill set that you have that has sort of allowed you, or even just one skill that sort of allowed you to succeed within the business or building it?
I think the networking thing is massive because that created the mastermind, which helped build a great sub-community in our larger community where we can all bounce ideas off each other and get really, really good advice. I guess that's probably one. I've got I did note down, they're the biggest challenges that I've had.
Yeah.
Did
you want me to go through them? If you've got no, that's cool, because like, of course, I couldn't agree more with the networking. Like, I think that's pretty much like 90% of it. Like anyone can sort of go and find a product, and with time you'll always be able to find something to sell, but it's being driven, and I think being able to do something on it in so many days that you can only get from yourself, but also from those people you surround yourself with. So I definitely agree with you there. Did you have another biggest challenge that you said you had there? I'd love to hear it.
The challenge is that I've got about 8 or 9 points, like the hardest thing that I went through. So cash flow was a huge one. That was probably the hardest because you put a lot in and then you're not seeing any returns for a long time. Even when your product's in there, like you start getting paid, but it's really slow and it's just a trickle. And then Amazon takes their cut and that trickle becomes a drip. So it's really, really hard. Cash flow is probably the biggest obstacle. Yeah, communication with the Chinese, that was tough, but you do get better at it. I guess that just comes with like the networking as well. Like you just get, it becomes more natural, like how you communicate with everyone.
Yeah.
Learning on the fly. So like what we said just before, I didn't know anything about importing, and then it took me days to get that first import finalized and understand that. And I thought I understood it, but I didn't know shit. So it took me a while to get my head around that. But once I did, I can do that easy now. It's just learning on the fly. So things come up, being dynamic, trying to get your head around it. You are going to make mistakes, but it's got to be done. You just got to do it.
Yeah. And I think that point there is just a really big one that not a lot of people will realize. I think a lot of the time, especially, coming to the end of school, and even I was at university for a bit, we're sort of trained to be really afraid of making mistakes, I think. I think very much now in this business and entrepreneurial journey, you just have to be completely okay with making mistakes. And sometimes
you're gonna do it.
Yeah, and they hurt you financially, but you got to really think. I don't know. I always think that would I be willing to lose $10,000 to make $100,000 or make $1 million? And like it's you either win or you learn, sort of thing. And it's sort of trying to change to that mindset there as well, which I think a lot of people sort of have trouble with.
Yeah, that is a hard one.
Oh, get rid of that. Sorry. Then of course, a lot of the people that my videos and stuff go out to are a lot of younger people like myself. Not trying to call you old or anything. But if you had but if you had a piece of advice for younger people wanting to get into business or entrepreneurship, or maybe, just feeling a bit stuck where they are with work and everything, did you have a piece of advice that you would sort of give to young people or to your younger self?
Yeah, to my younger self, it would be don't do scaffolding.
Fair.
But advice, I wrote down about 4 things and I crossed them out because I was like, this sounds like Confucius. It's just all the typical cliches that you get. And so I just thought about it. I go, what would I say to someone? It would be like, you can overcome any obstacle with perseverance. You just got to keep going. Don't give up.
Yeah. I love that. Like, I think that's fantastic. And so many people, I think, don't realize that, people just give up. Like, I guess for us and with Amazon, people will launch one product or not even one product and give up and don't realize, they see these people who are being successful and that they've launched and failed maybe 5 or 10 products or more along the way. And people just don't see that it's those people that don't quit, not the people that don't get it right straight away.
Yeah. It's a big learning curve the whole time. So I've had ups and downs with this, as you know. But since the start, I've been selling for about 18 months now, and I've grossed just getting up to 970,000 US gross. So I'm not far off cracking $1 million. But it's a hard game. Like there's so many downs. There are some pretty good highs there, but there's some big lows as well. And it's just riding them out and just keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. That's super cool. And then just the last question that I had for you today, which is something that I always like to wrap up any interview with. It's sort of different to the other ones we've had. But I just wanted to ask you, what are you grateful for and why?
Grateful. I am grateful that I've got an incredible wife that saw something that I could. She knows me and she's like, you can do this. And so she went to the summit for herself, but she found something for me, and she brought it home and sparked the fire for me. And I'm just grateful for having an incredible wife that knows me and supports me. And she gave me the okay to do all of this. with our life savings.
Yeah, that's it's so important, isn't it? It is so hard if you were to come home from work and you've obviously got the kids, and then to have someone there who didn't support you or was, I guess everyone would be worried about it, but like openly just not supportive would make it that much harder. So yeah, I think that's so lovely, and it is. You've got to really acknowledge that. Hey.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, Tuat, thank you so much for taking the time to interview me today. I always love getting to hear all your stories and get to have a chat with you. And you've dropped some absolute golden nuggets there. So I really appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure, man. It was cool doing this.
Yeah, I loved it. Alrighty, bro. I will we'll catch you guys all next time.
All right.
Bye.